everybody. Scott McGinnis back for another In Focus. For me personally, a huge thrill for me being around arm wrestling for just over 20 years. Special guest with me right now is many-time world champion, certainly a living legend in the sport of arm wrestling, Cleve Dean. Hi, Cleve. Nice to meet you today.
My pleasure, man.
Oh, it's a thrill for me to actually meet you. It really is a thrill. I remember watching you on Wide World of Sports, being a fan of arm wrestling, and then seeing you on video. It's a thrill for me.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you tell me what first got you interested in arm wrestling?
Well, I've always been interested in it, as a child playing around with it, but I didn't know there was a circuit or a world championship or anything like that until I just discovered it by accident, seeing it on TV being used for muscular dystrophy benefit.
Okay.
And that's where I learned about it and got in connection with the right people and promoters and started getting invites and went from there.
So as a youngster for me, well, as a younger person for me, watching you on TV back in the late 70s, you were the man to beat at the time, yes?
Oh, yes.
You were, and you were pulling against huge names, and Johnny Walker was around, the Pattons were around. Who was your biggest foe back then?
Well, I guess when I first started, it had been the guys in the West Coast, because they'd been in it longer than most of the guys in the East Coast and stuff. Virgil Arcero would have been my...
Okay.
He'd have been my truest adversary, and, as far as the West Coast people go, and even though there was a guy from the East Coast when I first started, sure, give me a fit, Steve Woodall.
Okay, right.
Man, that joker was all man, and no doubt about that.
Great. So, do you remember your first world title?
Yes, sir.
And where was that at?
It was in Petaluma.
Petaluma, okay.
78.
Wow, 1978, first world title. So was that was a huge thrill for you at the time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I never seen anything like that. There must have been, there was 400 competitors there that year.
400 competitors.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Petaluma was single elimination. You didn't mess up but one time, and that was it, and you go home.
Wow, that's a tough way to arm wrestle.
That's a tough thing to know you're going that far, spend that kind of money, and all you got to do is just not hear something. And I like to have done it. I mean, I wasn't used to having multiple tables on the table at the same time, on the stadium.
Yeah.
And wasn't used to having that many refs saying go and everything. And it was quite a distraction. You had to learn how to focus on something like that when you got that much going around and you're not used to it, and you hear so many other refs saying go and stuff. And there's a couple of times I didn't hear to go. I actually caught the guy and had to bring him back.
Wow. Yeah, well, that would be a huge adjustment. So, just for me and for the other people. So, how many world titles do you have? Do you know?
I got over 100 world titles.
Over 100 world.
I don't really even know what's like, but yes, sir.
Wow.
Right-handed and left-handed together now.
Yeah. That's true. So, and you've been fairly active right up until just the past couple of years. You haven't been as active, correct?
Well, there's been a couple times. I took in '86. I quit for 6 years.
Okay.
And then come back and won the Worlds again. Then I took another. I did it for 2 or 3 years. Took another 5 years off. Come back and won the Worlds again. Stuff like that, But as far as staying active with it and staying involved with it, I always have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, I hadn't been as active, but it's because my legs won't let me be agile enough at the table.
Well, I heard there was a knee replacement. Is that?
Well, I had a right knee replacement.
Okay.
But the knees are not as much of the problem as my back is. See, I injured my back when I was 22 years old. I literally crushed 2 vertebrae in it.
Wow. Yeah.
And see, they've never been fixed.
Okay.
And stenosis sets up in there, which is nothing but arthritis. But it grows. It fused. My 5th lumbar is totally fused, like a doctor did it.
Yeah.
But that fusion also goes inside your backbone and starts pinching off nerves.
Oh, okay.
See, that starts it's actually a paralysis. A slow paralysis is what it is. It's something that can be corrected. But for my size is what's making it so difficult.
Okay.
And see, I've been 3 times here lately trying to get an MRI done. Can't get it done yet.
Man.
Now I still hope to get it done. And I got a doctor that says he can clean it out. So maybe, good Lord willing, it'll happen.
Okay. So now, after being off for a few years, now what motivates you to come back and try again, like for another world title? Just the love of the sport?
I just love the sport, love the people. You know, and I love the competition. I love one-on-one competition, you know. And like in this sport here, for the most part, it depends on you and what you've done. Now, you know, you get lucky to draw. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had days when it wasn't nothing but a cakewalk. Then I've had days that every last I got the toughest guy every time around, you know. and you earned it that day, you know. And then some days, like I said, because it's a draw, you just go through it and wonder, you know, why didn't they just send me the trophy and I wouldn't even have to come spend all the money, you know.
Right.
And I've seen other guys do the same thing in their class, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, those are just lucky days, you know, but, you know.
It is. I mean, the draw is everything. The draw really is.
It makes a world difference in what kind of day you're going to have. Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely. So now you're here today. Are you going to try and compete today, or are you just here to see
I'm
some
just
friends?
Here to see everybody and watch everybody. I mean, I don't live at 50, 60 miles from here, see, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I come up every year and support this one and stuff like that. And I'll play around the table with some of the guys after it's over with and stuff like that, but.
So,
you know.
Will we see Cleve Dean back on the table again, you think?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
It's not over
If I
yet?
have to do it from sitting down, yes. I mean, that's what I've been starting doing is training.
Okay.
Sitting down, and just in case, that's what I have to do, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, because so I've been to build me something that's built the right height and everything else to where I literally can arm wrestle sitting down, because I can arm wrestle almost as good sitting down as I can stand up.
Yeah.
And which better now, because when I'm sitting down, I don't have to depend on my legs to hold me, and it's just, you know, I have a limited amount of agility, but not near about as limited as I am with my legs. Because when I'm standing up, all I can do is just one thing. That's just lock and hold and pull. I can't use none of my body. My body won't twist and work with me, you know.
Okay. So, well, that's great. Listen, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking to me for a minute. It was a thrill to meet you. It really was. I'm honored.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And I'm sure glad you come down here to see us today. I know you come a long ways. And
yeah, come down.
I hope it was all worth your while.
It's been great. And as I was talking to Todd before, Southern hospitality is legendary. It's everything everybody says it is, folks.
For the most part, it is. I mean, it's lacking. The demeanor of it says it's less than some, unfortunately, and I hate to see it. But for the most part, you'll see it's still very graceful.
It is. The people have just been great.
Good.
So thanks again, Cleve. I really appreciate it. Folks, huge thrill for me. One of my idols in arm wrestling, Mr. Cleve Dean. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
My pleasure. You have a good day.
Thank you.